Hi, those publications were really impressive. I love the community engagement. I'm wondering what the process looks like to have citizen scientists or go through the process of publication and how much support there is within the collaboration for that process or training.
That's a really good question. So, and it's obviously those of us that have supervised grad students or those of us that are grad students know this is quite a steep learning curve from going from what you think is writing quite well to suddenly having to produce a scientific publication that might involve playing with LaTeX and all the rest that goes with it. So we are phenomenally supportive. Quite often, we don't necessarily have a designated academic contact, but there generally is one academic who is mentoring through this process. But we've now got to a point where a lot of the citizen scientists will help each other. We have a Slack channel, so people will be saying, oh, I'm really struggling with this thing on LaTeX. I can't make my table look right. And somebody else will chime in with, oh, I have an example of when I struggled with that. So that's really nice. We sort of build them up with, it's not unusual for citizen scientists to have contributed a discovery to an academic-led paper, and then they maybe want to lead a research note. So perhaps not the quality bar is lower, but it's shorter. It's only one figure or table. It's not quite as hefty. And then on to the main paper. And we've had citizen scientists who've been, for instance, remote observing, to take their own data and reduce their own data. But again, a lot of that bit is normally done by the academics and the grad students belonging with the program. But yeah, it's a fun process. But we are extremely supportive, and I don't think we'd ever say no if anyone said they wanted to lead a paper that was worth publishing. We'd be like, yeah, sure, go for it.
Hey, so thank you. This was really wonderful. You had a slide about the retirement limit. So I presume that's the amount of citizen scientists who you need to classify an image before you,
This one, yeah.
before you put it off the server. So how do you choose the retirement limit? Because I'm curious.
So the light curves are all uploaded to Zooniverse, and Zooniverse has a very nice way of doing this. You can build your project really quite easily. And then you set limits, as I understand it, to sort of retirement limits. So you retire an object after it's been classified by X numbers of people. So this is sort of how you build your reliability statistics in. So you can see we've got numbers here. So there's, retirement limit is 20, number of images retired for each of those things. So yeah, the classifications number at the top is not individual light curves. That's how many times things have been classified. And there are 20 classifications per light curve before we take it out of the workflow, because, there comes a point where there is no point asking everybody to keep reclassifying the same thing. Does that answer your question? That is a good question. I suspect we picked the number 20 because it's what Tess used. But I don't know how. I mean, I think some of this is a little bit trial and error to start off with. I'm looking at Adam and Aaron at this point, who have set up many other citizen science projects. But yeah, I think you sort of guess something that is not ridiculously huge and isn't 3, and see how it goes, because you can always change this. It's a back end thing. I think you can always change it and put things back in if you think after the first sweep it's not working out for you.
Have you thought about integrating sonifications to expand the pool of possible citizen scientists and make it more accessible to blind and visually impaired people? There's a couple of papers on the effectiveness of sonification that specifically look at planet transits. So this would be the ground zero for doing that in citizen science.
I haven't, but it's something I've been looking into separately, because at my university we also have an outreach project based on tactile plates, and I've produced a bunch relating to exoplanets. So looking at sonification was the next step, exactly because of the nature of the transit really lends it to this sort of thing. Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Okay, so I think we should move on to the next speaker. But thank you so much, Sarah, for the great talk, and thanks for all the questions as well following.